Hey folks, this is Dennis with Initial Ascent, and today I'm going to show you what I'm going to pack for my 2021 bear hunt. That will be 5 days in length, so 4 nights, and just going to go through everything that's in my pack. So I'm going to start with the IA4K. That's what I'm going to bring this year. I had the 2K with the lid last year, and it was just, for everything that I wanted to bring this year, it was just going to be a little bit too tight. So I wanted to make sure that I could get everything comfortably in the bag, plus be able to take my bear out, hopefully. So let's get right to it. First, my water bottle. It's a GSI Microlight, and it holds 33 ounces, 1,000 milliliters. That's what I'm going to take. It's insulated, so it keeps my water cold, or if I want to heat up some water and keep it warm, then I can do that as well. So I'm going to take that, and I'll go through my water system, filtration system here in just a second. So let's see. The next thing, and I'll put these to the side, but my trekking poles that I'm going to carry are the Sissy Sticks by Peaks, and I just love these. These are carbon uppers and aluminum lowers, and I've used these for the past couple years now, and I just really like them. Also from Peaks are their new gaiters, and I've only had these just for a few months, haven't gotten to use them a ton, but these are going to come in handy. I always wear gaiters on most of my hunts, and the spring bear hunt is no exception. Okay, we're going to start with the top lid compartment here. So the first thing I pull out of my lid, so I've got this in a pack sack. Most of the stuff that I carry, I'm organizing in pack sacks this year. These are our Initial Ascent pack sacks. So this is my first aid kit. I do like to carry dude wipes. Not only is this my first aid kit, but I also have my toiletries in here, as far as like toothbrush, contacts, that sort of thing. Around my toothbrush here, it's got the tube of toothpaste in there. And I also wrap some Leukotape. I don't have to carry the whole roll of Leukotape, and I do kind of re-up this after every trip, especially if I use some Leukotape on the trip. Basically everything that I need for my first aid kit in there, and I'll do another video on exactly what that is. Next, this is my water filtration kit. So I do like to bring a couple of these Hydro Pack. These are 3-liter bladders, and so I bring a couple of these. They weigh nothing. I love the dark color. That way, if I'm up high and there's not a stream up there, and I've got snowpack, I can actually put the snow in here, hang it off the back of my pack, and let it sit out in the sun for a little while. It'll actually melt in the bag itself because it's dark. So I usually bring a couple of these. And then also for this trip, I'm going to bring my Steri pen, and this is, not sure what model this one is, but I'll check that out and then leave that in the comments. Then I like to carry these Liquid IV hydration multipliers. These are really good. I've got electrolyte. It's basically electrolyte drink mix. And then I usually bring about 7 or 8 of those for a 5-day trip. And then I also bring 4 of the Liquid IV Sleep electrolyte drink mixes as well. And so those really help relax me at night, and I can sleep well. So, and then I do have some of these Catadine water purifying tablets if I need them. So my drink mixes and everything will go in here. So I will use that SteriPen after I've gathered the dirty water in these. I'll pour it into my microlight there and use the SteriPen, and then I can do my drink mixes and all that as well. So sometimes I carry a bladder, but not for this trip. I really like the system that I've got going here, especially in the spring where the water's flowing pretty hard. You don't have a whole lot of sediments and that sort of thing that you have to pre-filter out. So anyway, the next thing, my fire starter kit. Pretty simple. I've got the Pyro Putty, I forget what they call this, but the Pyro Putty lighter, and it's rechargeable. It's a plasma lighter is what it is. That's a pretty cool lighter. Then I carry a little tube of Pyro Putty as well for fire starter. Backup fire starter, I use rim oil wipes. They work really well, and when you light those on fire, they just kind of coat down through your kindling and work well. I also have some waterproof matches for a backup to the lighter. Carry that in my small initial scent pack sack. This next thing is it's an inflatable solar light, and it's called the Lucy. So I love using this in my tent. It weighs nothing. It is solar, and it's got a couple of different levels of brightness, and a little bit of light in the tent at night saves your headlamp, but it also provides a nice lit up environment and kind of gives you a little bit of semblance of home there. And then finally, my headlamp. It's the Black Diamond Stormlight. Bomb proof. I've used that for a couple years now and just really love that. Okay, now we're through with the lid. Now I'm gonna unbuckle the lid, kick it back, and on our lid I actually put I put my tags right up in here. We've got a small pocket up in there. I usually put the tags in. I carry this. This is a Thermarest Z-Seat. Weighs nothing, and it's just perfect for a butt pad. You can use it as a floor mat as well. So a lot of uses for that. So I like carrying that. Okay. In this top pocket right here, this is our top stretch pocket. Got another small pack sack, and I'm carrying my Garmin InReach Mini, as well as my Goal Zero battery pack, and then I've got a phone charger cord, and then also a charger cord for the Garmin. So I'll have plenty of electronic power out there. Put that aside. The next pack sack that I have, this is an extra large pack sack, but this is kind of my cold weather kit, if you will. And right now for this hunt, what I'm going to do, I have a beanie in here. I've got a couple of merino gloves, and I've got a merino neck gaiter. That's all I'm going to carry for this particular hunt. This is going to be in the middle of May, and that's all I should need. Next, I've got my puffy, and this puffy's served me for the last probably 6 or 7 years. Really light, compressible, and I always keep it in this bottom section right here so I can get to it really quickly. Now, main bag. there's 3 ways to get into our bag, as you know, one from the top, and then on either side you have those zippers there. Oh, before I forget, toilet paper, wash rag, a little bit of soap right there, so I can towel off in the creek, and then I do have wet wipes in the first aid kit that I'll use along with the toilet paper, obviously. Now, pulling stuff out of the top. Okay, this is my rain gear. So I've got tops and bottoms. I don't often carry this, but a lot of times what I'll do is just kind of wait and see what the weather is called for, and I'll just bring the jacket. So I'm using this year I'm using the rain setup by Scree. That served me pretty well last year, and so I'm going to do that again. I may or may not take the bottoms with me. I don't often take those. So anyway, that's my rain gear. So this next thing, this is sitting right on top, and this is kind of where I keep it. But this is our initial scent dry bag, and this is where I'm going to keep my food. So I'm going to put my food in here. I'll show you kind of what that looks like. So here's my food bag for one day. And obviously I'm going to have 5 of these in there, but each Ziploc bag will house 1 day's worth of food. So number one, I don't overeat, but I can monitor my food consumption and make sure I'm eating enough. In another video, I'll kind of go over some of my favorite foods that I like to take on a daily basis. But anyway, that weighs about 1.5 pounds. So you multiply that times 5, and that's basically your food weight. So I keep it in this dry bag because what I can do, number one, I can keep my food separate, but in our dry bag, I keep 25 feet of this rapid rope, and at night I can take and walk away from where my tent is, find a good tree, and string my food up, because we are in bear country. You know, it's black bear country, but still, you don't want any curious black bears coming into camp at night. So so this dry bag works really well for just stringing my food up in there. I'll also, you know, throw my toothpaste as well, and any snacks that I might have in my pack left over after the day, I'll throw them in here just to be safe. So try to keep a good clean camp. All right. Okay, next, so I'm not really going to bring any extra clothing other than my puffy, the rain jacket and pants, than what I have on going in. So this is what I'm going to bring for extra clothes. So I've got another pair of merino wear, and then I've got a couple of pairs of socks. So I like to change socks about once every other day, but what I'll do is I'll rotate those socks every day, but I'll put a clean pair of socks on every other day. So for a 5-day hunt, having the socks that I wear in there, plus a couple other pair, do me just right, and my socks or my feet won't get real rank. Okay, now for the shelter. Now, this is one reason that I need to take our IA4K. My shelter that I'm taking is by Hyperlight Mountain Gear, and it's their 2-person tent. And in the spring, call me a pansy, but I hate ticks. And so I'm going to bring not only the main shelter, and it's a teepee style shelter. It's this Dyneema Cuban fiber, I think is what they call it. but it weighs next to nothing. And you have the main one that's supported by a trekking pole, and so I like to use that one, but I also like to have the nest as well, and it's got a bottom on it. I don't want any creepy crawlies in there with me at night. So springtime here in Idaho, the ticks are out in full force, and I just can't take that. So it does take up a little bit more room in my pack. Later on in the season, I won't bring the nest. You know, once the ticks are kind of gone, I'll just bring the main on through basically the rest of the year. One thing I do want to do at some point is put a stove jack in this. They have these kits, I guess you can get, and so I'll put a stove jack in there, and then get a small stove so I can have a hot tent type setup. Okay, talked about food just a minute ago. I do bring a jet boil. This is the Minimo, and I'll bring that. And I've got my little canister of fuel. I typically only use one small canister for a 5-day trip, so I'll just bring that. It's housed in here, and that should be good. I bring this is a ground cloth, and this ground cloth is by 6 a.m. Outdoors. Really light. It's like 6 by 8, and so I'll put this down. I can use this as a tarp if I get into some weather, or if it's really sunny and I want some shade, I can use this as well. If I'm breaking my animal down, I can use this as a drop cloth and keep the meat and everything nice and clean. Just multiple uses for this. You can even leave your pack outside if you want, and cover it up with this as well. Now, if I'm going floorless, this is what I'll have under my sleeping pad as well. I do bring, in the springtime, I will bring our initial scent rain cover for my pack. This is my kill kit. On this trip, I'm going to bring my 6 a.m. Outdoors. These are boneless game bags. I'll take 4 of them. I'll also bring a couple of contractor bags as well, and I've got about 20 feet of paracord. I've got a titanium knife from Idaho, and that holds the I think it's the 60 blades. I'll bring several of those. It's a replaceable blade knife. And also with that, I'll bring their spoon that hooks on to their knife, and that's what I'll use for my meals. So that's my kill kit. Okay, I've got the an insulated pad from Big Agnes. This is a 20 by 72, and this is the AXL air insulated pad. And then I'll also bring the Arrows pillow from Sea to Summit. Both of them very light, and not the lightest in the world, but comfort wise, as I get older, I prefer to be comfortable over the lightest that I can be. I try to, there's a happy medium there for me, but when it comes to my sleep system, I gotta be comfortable. I gotta sleep. I've got a bad back as it is, and so I gotta make sure that everything's just right with my sleep system. Last thing, I believe, in the main portion of the bag, I've got a Sea to Summit dry bag, and what I have in here is my my quilt, and this this quilt is from Enlightened Equipment, and this quilt is a 20-degree quilt. I've used this for the last couple years, and I really like this quilt. I like using a quilt. It just works for me. If you have a good insulated pad, you can use a quilt and be really comfortable. So put that down here. Okay. Let's see. Next, I've got my tripod, and this is the slick carbon fiber, and then I've got an Outdoorsman micro head on top. And speaking of optics, I will be bringing a spotting scope, and that's going to be the 553 by Kowa, and that's the smaller one. So I'm really excited about that. I don't have it yet, but I did a spotting scope review with Backwoods Pursuit this year, and I was very impressed with that spotter. So I ended up buying one, and I'm just waiting on it to get here. So other optics wise, I've got my marsupial bino harness. This is the older generation, and then I've got my 10 by 42 Razor UHDs from Vortex. I've got my Outdoorsman bino attachment or bino adapter, and then this is something I'm probably going to get a different rangefinder, but this is the Ranger from Vortex. So anyway, we got that also in a marsupial rangefinder pouch there. In my side pouch here, that's typically where I keep my rangefinder, especially when I'm on a rifle hunt. But since this, and I don't think I mentioned this, but I'm going to take my bow on this hunt, and so I'll use that rangefinder on my bino harness. I keep, along with a couple of snacks, I keep a tourniquet in my side pouch right there. So that about wraps it up. This is what I'm going to take on my 2021 bear hunt here in Idaho, and it'll be in the month of May. So thanks for tuning in, and if you have any questions, be sure to ask in the comments. I'll be glad to answer anything, and also like, subscribe, and be sure to leave us a comment. Thanks a bunch.